Schwartz in the chip lead. Second is Jake Schindler. And third, Byron Coverman creeping up on that 100K even water mark. That's what everybody started the event with. Blinds, all right, 12 and 2400. The ante is 400. Jake finds himself on the button here and first to act. And he looks down at 2 10s. Real big holding three-handed. He's gonna pop it to 5,500. Schwartz's hand hits the muck, and it's Queen 7. The computer hand, as it's affectionately known. Coverman defends his big blind. And they call it that because it's the average holding to win a hand of Hold'em?
Yeah, if you put all the hands in a row, Queen 7 is pretty much in the middle. So it's the computer hand because there are just as many better hands and worse hands that you can get dealt.
The flop of Ace King 3 drew a couple of checks from both players. The turn card pairs Coverman's 7s. He checks again.
So Jake continuing to employ his low continuation bet percentage.
Yeah, playing
strategy.
small ball here. Checks again on the turn. Deuce on the river.
I mean, his strategy makes perfect sense to me. I mean, he's not likely he'll get called by too many worse hands.
Also checks. Baron turns over Queen of Hearts.
And he ends up knuckling all the way down. But this is a player who we've seen extract thin value. Why didn't he do it on this situation in the river?
Honestly, I don't have a good answer to that. I think he very, very credibly could have bet the river and tried to get value. Maybe he thought that in that particular case, Byron could have a weak king and maybe wouldn't have much else to pay off. Byron happened to have basically the exact perfect hand to pay off a bet, a pair of 7s with a good kicker. I think Jake missed a little bit of value there, but again, these spots are pretty marginal, so you can't really blame him too much.
The Pocket Pair Festival continues. 6s for Noah Schwartz on the button. And he's going to pop it to 5,500. Seems to be the figure that these three have settled upon as being the standard raise amount pre-flop. Byron's hand hits the muck, and over to Schindler, who's got 4-5 offsuit in the big.
And it's not a coincidence that we continue to see this pattern, the button raising, the small blind folding, and the big blind defending. This is just the pattern that makes the most sense. The button's going to raise the most number of hands because it's in the best position. The big blind's going to call the most number of hands because it's getting the best price and capping the action.
Total error ball for Schindler on the flop of 8-8-9. Both he and Schwartz check. The turn produces a king. Schindler checks again.
So Jake here with really no equity, not taking a shot even though Noah did check back on the flop.
Noah firing 7,500 with the 6s.
A little bit of an odd bet here. I think it's mostly for protection after Jake checked twice. You're not really going to have a lot of hands beat that are going to call the turn. That's why I said the point of the bet, I think, was mostly just to protect his hand, not really for value. Just doesn't want to see another king or a 9 or even a jack or queen or 10. A lot of cards he doesn't want to see. I think he could have bet the flop, but betting the turn makes some sense as well.
We've seen players tightening the hatches a little bit here, not getting loose. And I know, Olivia, you had mentioned that perhaps loosening things up would be the